Good morning, Rambler families. This is Mr. Mead, and I wanted to make a video for both parents and for my students. And so, moms and dads, if you're pulling up this video, if you'd like to go ahead and grab your son or daughter and invite them to come watch with you, I just wanted to make a personal connection with you as we begin to launch week 2 of our 3-week school closure. And I got to tell you, this has been one of the most unusual experiences of my life. I'm thinking about you all the time, kids, boys and girls, my fellow Ramblers. I hope that you're all doing really, really well. I miss seeing you in school every day, and I'm hoping that you're having some good times together with your family as we kind of watch all these historic events unfold around us. At the time that I'm making this video, we have had confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Grand Traverse County, which is where I live, and as well as many other counties in northern Michigan, and we're kind of watching this wave sweep over the entire world of people who are getting sick, and our leaders and our government trying to find solutions and find ways to help people. And there have also been a lot of really neat acts of kindness and things, ways that people are finding to stay connected with each other and ways to help their friends and neighbors. So I'm hoping that you're finding ways to do that as well as we kind of go into our self-isolation and quarantine of our families, things like that, trying to make sure that we're not spreading the virus to other people. I have had a lot of families reaching out to me asking, what's the plan? What are we going to be doing? And I've been trying to give that some thought. At the district level, obviously, Superintendent Preisel, Dr. Preisel, has been reaching out to families with the latest news for the district. And I don't want to try to improve on his messages because sometimes teachers can create confusion by trying to bring clarity. And I think that he's doing a good job with that. But officially, the word is our school is closed, as you've probably heard. And by closed, what that means is that although I can pass along things to you and give you suggestions on how you can make good use of your time, it's not the same as going into a virtual teaching situation like some schools are trying to do. In fact, the state of Michigan, the Michigan Department of Education, has said that we cannot count the time or the assignments that we're using to try to provide instruction to you as any kind of requirement. It has to be optional. And furthermore, those hours that we spend providing you with materials can't count towards our school year. And so for that reason, I am trying to provide some things, but I also think it's important that we keep in mind that this is uncharted territory for us. We're not sure how much longer, although we're hoping to get back on April 6th, and the plan is to get back on April 6th. Not really sure that that's going to happen. And so I don't want to be providing things that we're going to have to do anyway when we get back to school, to have you end up doing it twice. I think the most important things that we can do are the math practice that we sent, as well as spending a lot of time reading. Reading is probably the most important thing that you'll be doing, and so I would encourage you not only to be reading, but to read together as a family. And furthermore, if you're reading by yourself, go ahead and share what you're reading with your parents or with your brothers and sisters, and also keep a journal about that. In my last video, I was talking about how my kids, the last time that we had something even a little bit close to this, there was a big snowstorm, a big blizzard, about 7 or 8 years ago that shut down this whole region, and I think that school was canceled for about 6 days. And my daughter in particular was keeping kind of her survival journal on how she was surviving with no power in the ice storm, and how the trees and the branches that had fallen down, and it was really quite an amazing project that she did. Some of it was even on video. And so I'd encourage you, as you're reading things, to go ahead and write about it. You can also communicate with me if you'd like to send me an email. I would love to hear from you. You're welcome to do that. And of course, my email is marcus.mead@mcbain.org. And you can also communicate with your friends and neighbors through either social media or through your school email accounts, if you know how those work. I have never used our school email accounts with the kids, and so I'm not sure if Mrs. Freeland taught them how that works, but if they're able to use Gmail, they can use those school email accounts to stay in touch, not only with me, but also with other students from the class or even from the school. So those are very important things that you can be doing. Another thing is to, as I said in my last video, to take note of how our different levels of government are responding to the crisis. And so we've got obviously President Trump and the Centers for Disease Control in Washington, as well as senators and congressmen who are working to lead our country at the national level. We also have governors like Governor Whitmer here in Michigan. You'll hear a lot about Governor Cuomo in New York or larger states like that and how they're responding, as well as local leaders here in McBain or in Grand Traverse County where I live, different places, and how we are responding at the local level, the state level, and the national level. And it's really a pretty amazing way of looking at what we were just learning about before we left. Math facts will always be important, and so I'm going to be sending out another copy of the baseball multiplication baseball that we played before we left. And remember, you can get the 10-sided dice. If you just Google search 10-sided dice, it'll give you a copy of that. You can just hit the button to roll the dice and practice your multiplication facts. What I would recommend is that as you're playing multiplication bingo, if you come across a problem, like maybe it's 8 times 8 and you don't know that one, make sure you jot that one down, and that's one you can continue to practice. It would be absolutely amazing if we got back to school and everybody knew their multiplication facts really, really quick, just like that. Remember when Gage and I were racing the calculator, and when he had the calculator, there were a lot of times I could beat him by knowing the facts in my head. And the same thing, that when he had the chance to do it from his memory and I had a chance to use a calculator, he was able to beat me quite often, and he was able to win that round. And so getting those facts up here in your head is a very powerful thing that you can do. In addition to that, look for fun things that you can do in your house hobby-wise. My little son Wesley and I really like to drive radio-controlled cars. And he has a fairly nice one, but it's not one that you can work on. It's not really user serviceable where he can take it apart with a screwdriver or something like that. And so we were able to go on Facebook just tonight and actually found in Illinois my first radio-controlled car. It was called a Tamiya Hornet. And I contacted the guy, and for $50, he is sending us the Tamiya Hornet with the radio and the battery and everything that we'll need, and he's so excited. He downloaded the instruction manual and wants to take that apart with his dad and put it back together and learn about how cars work. And so if there are things that you're interested in, it was interesting because our pastor at our church here in Traverse City has gone online, as many churches have, and that was in his sermon today, was how are we using the time that God has given us as a family, because it's not something that we get very often. It's not often that we're told you need to go home and stay home for 3 weeks. That doesn't happen very often. In fact, I don't think that's ever happened in my life. And so it's a really neat opportunity to spend time with the people that we care about most and to do things that we might normally not have time to do. Boys and girls, you know that right before this all happened, I actually lost my stepmom, that she passed away, and that wasn't completely unexpected. But it has given me, this break from school has given me some really, really important time with my dad to help him as he's dealing with a lot of life changes right now and getting ready to sell his house. And I'm able to be there for him in a way that I wouldn't have been if school was in session. And so being there with your family and taking advantage of this time is really going to be important. I do want to stay connected to you, so like I said, this is my video for this week, and officially we are actually on spring break, and so I'll send out the multiplication bingo sheet, but I'm not going to send any more work until after this week is done, just to give you a chance to break if you haven't taken a break yet, and then by next week I'll have some more materials. And of course, if you've got questions or ever just even want to talk, you can give me a call. My number is 231-709-7031 because I'd love to know how you're doing. And I hope that you're doing very, very well and staying healthy. So I care about you as my families and as my students, and I'm looking forward to the time that we can get back together again. In the meantime, let's stay close, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much, and have a great day.